Media racialization is when you impose a racial interpretation on a person, or in this case, a Disney character we all know and love, such as Sebastian from The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid tells the story of Ariel, a very curious mermaid from Atlantica that is very intrigued by life on land. One night, she swims up to the surface, which is forbidden by her father, and falls in love with a prince who has been in a shipwreck. After falling in love, she wants to be with him at all costs, so she goes to a sea witch, Ursula, and requests to be turned into a human. Her price was her voice, and she signed a contract where she had to make the prince fall in love with her within 3 days, or her soul would belong to Ursula forever. The Little Mermaid was released in 1989 and was the first animated film that introduced the Disney Renaissance period. The Disney Renaissance period was when animated Disney movies became more musical, and this is also when they started to make a lot of profit. As you can see in the chart, prior to The Little Mermaid, Disney movies we now know as classics did not make a lot of profit in box office sales. That is why, at the time it was released, it was very successful, making approximately $184 million in box office sales. Although it was very profitable, it made the least amount of profit compared to other Disney classics. The Little Mermaid was also very well received by the public. According to the graph by Rotten Tomatoes, it had approximately 90% of positive ratings when it first came out. Today, it has 93% to be exact. Because of the success, it won 2 Academy Awards for Best Song with the song Under the Sea and the Best Original Music Score. However, among the negative critics are claims of racialization. Other negative critics involve how Ariel portrays body image issues to young girls and sends a very anti-feminist message that it's okay to lose your voice and give up who you are for a man. The issue of racialization revolves around the character Sebastian, Ariel's crab friend and sidekick. His character was voiced over by Samuel E. Wright, and the 2 of the most popular songs from the movie, Under the Sea and Kiss the Girl, were sang by him. In the movies, Sebastian is a Jamaican red crab who is King Triton's right-hand man. There is a scene of the movie before a musical number where Sebastian is announced as the royal court composer. Sebastian is portrayed as meticulous, anxious, and sometimes uptight. He's also insanely charismatic and has sort of a Caribbean accent. And Sebastian also seems to be very overprotective over Ariel. He was given the task to look out for her, so he made sure that he did. The first evidence of how Sebastian is racialized in the movie is through the song Under the Sea. In the song, he sings, "Up on the shore they work all day, out in the sun they slave away, while we devoting full time to floating under the sea." Because of this line, and the fact that he is being portrayed as a Jamaican person, the lyrics insinuate that Jamaican people are lazy and don't like to work. So, while others are slaving away in the sun, they're just living life the way they want, floating through life, so to speak. Also, in the movie, there are other fish singing with him. There are claims that whoever designed the fish made their lips bigger and added other facial and vocal features, which racialized them as black. Another evidence, also in the same song, was the lyrics, "The fluke is the Duke of Soul, the blackfish she sings," which once again supports my claim that not only Sebastian but the fish are being racialized as black. These lyrics basically talk about what is happening in the movie. It suggests that all the fish who are singing and were given certain characteristics are black and are celebrating laziness, which makes the assumption and stereotype that black people are lazy, which is very not true. I just wanted to add that Sebastian is the kind of servant to the king, so he does not have a lot of power. He is the only character who is racialized as black. The fish don't really have a main role whatsoever in the movie. This just goes to show that the movie is portraying Sebastian to be lower class because of his role and job to the king, which is one he does not want to lose, and how he's singing about a world where they don't have to work. In comparison with other characters who are racialized as white, they are portrayed as upper class. For example, Triton and his daughters have royal status. Prince Eric and the people who are close to him are also racialized as white and upper class. People say that Disney movies are the most kid-friendly movies there is. There's always a happily ever after. They always teach kids positive life lessons and what mistakes not to make. However, the topic of race or even gender hasn't been discussed until recently. Recently, the films are getting more diverse and more woke, so to speak. For example, Disney is coming out with more racially diverse princesses, such as Moana and Tiana from Princess and the Frog. However, we can't forget about the older classics, such as The Little Mermaid, that is very racialized and portrays African American people as lazy and lower class. They are just as important as the newest movies because they show us how society used to be, and to do so, we can be better. Little Mermaid was a reflection of cultural stereotypes that need to stop and stay in the past. That's the only way we can evolve and grow.